we're gonna do some education right here, right now. Gonna be playing winemaker for a minute. All right, I overdid it. Welcome to Herzog Wine Cellars. Excuse my mess. Sorry for that, but that's what happens when you play winemaker. This is simply an education process that took me quite a while, took me some time and a lot of bottles of wine, spending many hours with the winemaking team for me to learn and understand and appreciate. There's 3 ways of making sparkling wine. One is by adding CO2 to the wine. I used the soda stream, just added CO2. I have a sparkling wine from a still Chenin Blanc to now a sparkling Chenin Blanc. Easy, quick, and quite delicious. That's one. Number 2 is what is called, the process is called method Charmat. What happens is the wine needs to go through a secondary fermentation. That's how you get the sparkles, the bubbles, the flavors, the yeastiness, all happens from that secondary fermentation. We start off in both of these cases, we make the wine, we ferment the wine, you have a beautiful, great quality white wine, or it could be rosé, that you fermented nice and clean. You take yeast and more of the same juice or wine that you kept back as juice before fermentation. So you have a pressurized tank, you added the wine, you added yeast, you added some more of grape juice into it. Now it starts fermenting, but it's pressurized. So all the pressure, all the CO2 stays in the tank. Now you have to go take it from the tank. You gotta get rid of all the lees, all the schmutz, put it through a filter, which is also pressurized, put it through a bottling line that is also pressurized, and you bottle it. And that's why you have that cage, so it can't blow off and it can't just explode. It's pressurized, bottled under pressure, secondary fermentation, method Charmat. That's our beautiful lineage product. And then this 3rd way of making wine, which is called method Champenois. This bottle of wine actually is from France, Champagne. So if it's a French bottle, it needs to be 2 things. It needs to come from Champagne, France, in order to be Champagne. And then the method needs to be method Champenois, which means the secondary fermentation that we just explained over here that happened in the stainless steel tank actually happened in the bottle. Now, how does that happen? Same idea, but in a way different scale. You have the wine that you fermented, in this case, Russian River Chardonnay. You put it into the bottle, you add yeast and some grape juice into this bottle. It starts fermenting. You can look at it. This is all cloudy because the yeast cells and everything is still in here. It wasn't filtered or anything. It sits in the bottle for more than a year to 2 years. Every once in a while it gets turned so that the lees stays mixed and you actually get flavors, you get yeasty notes, which is something that you look forward in the champagne. And then you need to settle it. What you do is riddling, so that you get all this lees to settle into the neck of the bottle, which is what I did over here. This has been sitting here for a while. And what you have is, if you see here in the bottom, this is all the lees. So this is all the byproducts from the yeast or the fermentation, everything settled here in the bottom. Now we need to get this out. How does that happen? We put the bottle into glycol, we freeze the neck, and then we pop the crown cap, and from the pressure, because this is now all under pressure, fermented in the bottle, CO2 in the bottle, all that pressure will push that schmutz, that lees cap, what we call, out, and then we put in the regular cork, and what you have is this beautiful, brand new, for the very first time, Herzog Special Reserve Russian River Valley Method Champenois sparkling wine. You'll see in all of these champagnes and all of the other champagnes you look at, they're all non-vintage, and that is by design. Every big champagne house will keep back about 30% of their production of wine from year to year that they could blend in, that you do not have what we call the year-to-year vintage variation in wine. So in sparkling, you try to keep it exactly the same from year to year. Until next time, enjoy some bubbles, some good bubbles. Herzog Method Champenois.